also. Horror movies. Do you mind if we ask you a couple questions on that?
That's my husband.
Ask him?
He's better at this.
I'm doing my senior thesis on horror movies. Do you mind if we ask you a couple questions?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it?
Yeah.
I was just wondering, is this something you do all year round? Is this
Absolutely.
what you do for a living?
Yeah, lifelong fan. Been watching horror movies since I was 5 or 6 years old. Been a business for 18 years.
Really? Can I ask what movie started this? There's a certain movie that caught your interest
It wasn't
when you were young?
a certain film. It was when they released the Universal Classics on TV in the 60s. Child of the 60s. Now I'm an old man who likes my blood red push-up bras. Hammer films changed my life as a kid.
Okay.
I grew up watching Universal Classics like The Mummy, Frankenstein, and all that. And all of a sudden in the 70s, they started importing Hammer films. Blood was red, the women had real breasts, and my life was forever changed.
So you like those movies then? Is there anything you like now?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I'm still a fan of the horror genre. Sadly, it died in the mid-'80s, but it's coming back now. So I primarily specialize here, and I'm a big fan of the 60s and 70s drive-in films. Run my own convention in Cleveland twice a year. It's the only drive-in show in the country.
How many conventions do you do a year?
About 15 of them, 12 to 15.
All right. All right, thank you very much.
Not a problem, man.
So I'll start with your Day of the Dead shirt. Can you talk about why you're a fan of that movie? Because we went to the Mines this week and filmed there.
Well, more or less definitely a film of Day of the Dead because it's a sequel to Dawn of the Dead, which is one of my favorite horror films of all time. I'm not gonna lie, Dawn of the Dead is one of my favorite horror films, I take it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I first saw Dawn of the Dead when I was probably about 10 or 11 years old, and it was something that always struck a chord in me. It's a fun movie to watch. It's kind of an adventure movie, a horror movie at the same time. Not exactly the scariest movie of all time, I would say, but I'd probably say number one when I was that age, the gore. I loved watching the gory parts, trying to figure out how they did everything and all that. And then when I started growing up, getting a little older, I was able to appreciate it more for what it did for horror movies. I mean, how it kind of ushered in. Night of the Living Dead more or less ushered in the modern era horror movies, but Dawn of the Dead, I think, took it a step further with getting away with as much as you could show. People being ripped apart, blood splattering all over the place. It's one of the reasons it's probably one of my favorite horror movies of all time. It's funny though, because Dawn of the Dead was unrated when it first came out. And I see PG-13 and rated R movies nowadays that are 10 times beyond Dawn of the Dead. It's kind of fun.
I'm psychic like that.
Quick questions?
No.
Okay. I guess first of all, what was it like to work on Evil Dead?
It was a fun-filled joyride. No, it was, creatively, it was the best experience I'd ever had. Evil Dead 2 was the worst, but Evil Dead 1 was amazing. Thankfully, Sam was really secretive, and who should I make this out to?
Justin.
Justin?
Yeah.
And so I got the script 3 weeks before we were leaving for Tennessee, and so that was enough time to break down the script, figure out the materials I was going to need, how I was going to do the special effects materials I was going to need, and buy them. And I had time to put the cover of the book together, and I made the dagger, and made some face molds of some of the actors. one or two actually turned out, killing people. And so everything was pretty much done like the night before it was due. And normally that would be a problem for production, but fortunately I'm a genius, so it breezed right through. And of course the film is a major classic. You getting all this?
Oh yeah.
And but it was fun because I brought a lot more to the set than what was required of me. I was trying to, you know, get as much of my cool stuff into it. Like the dagger, when it stabs Shelley, it pukes blood. That was my idea. I showed up, hey, you stick a tube in here, you blow some blood through it, you get a close up of that, it'd be great. And he did it. And it worked out fine.
I agree.